Welcome to today's Explainer. Real quick before we get into the weeds, just a friendly reminder that everything we're looking at today is strictly for educational purposes. It's not a direct buy or sell recommendation. Always do your own due diligence, guys, because investing naturally carries inherent risks. All right, let's get into it. Today, we are completely decoding the incredibly complex macroeconomic pressure wave of 2026. If you've been keeping an eye on global markets, you know things are shifting at warp speed. So we're going to explore exactly how aggressive government policy and strategic corporate maneuvering in India are building these massive new economic moats. It's creating what we like to call a shield and sword dynamic. Here's our roadmap for today. We're going to cover the global overcapacity shock, India's regulatory defense shield, the sovereign moat, chemical and API champions, and finally, we'll wrap it all up with the 2026 strategic playbook. Let's kick things off with Section 1, the global overcapacity shock. To truly understand the opportunity we're looking at, we first have to wrap our heads around the sheer scale of the global manufacturing crisis playing out right now. People often mischaracterize this as just a one-way subsidy from China, but honestly, it's a highly volatile two-way pressure wave. Take a look at this number, 160 gigawatts. That staggering figure is India's massive solar module production gap. See, India's domestic solar module capacity expanded massively, hitting somewhere between 125 and 210 gigawatts. And this capacity was built almost entirely to target export markets, specifically the United States, which historically absorbed nearly 97% of these exports. And this really hits the nail on the head regarding the core conflict. Domestic manufacturing capacity absolutely dwarfs local demand, which is sitting at just 40 to 50 gigawatts annually. So what actually happened? Well, the US basically slammed the door shut in early 2026 with a devastating combined tariff stack of over 200% on Indian solar cells and modules. The result of that? Exports completely collapsed by 80%, leaving a massive 29 gigawatt inventory overhang just sitting in Indian factory yards. But upstream, it gets even riskier. Right now, Indian module manufacturers operate essentially as fragile toll assemblers. They are 100% dependent on imported Chinese polysilicon and 98% dependent on imported wafers. Until local sourcing mandates finally kick in around June 2028, these companies are highly vulnerable to any supply rationing disciplines imposed by Beijing. Honestly, it's a really fragile place for your capital to be.
Moving right along to Section 2, India's regulatory defense shield.
Now, what's fascinating here is how this global overcapacity crisis actually transforms into a targeted local opportunity through some aggressive government intervention. We are seeing a massive structural divergence in corporate fortunes. On one side, high beta assembly names, like those capacity-led solar and battery manufacturers we were just talking about, are getting absolutely crushed by severe margin compression. But on the flip side, vertically integrated businesses operating behind newly erected anti-dumping walls, they are capturing unprecedented pricing power. Capital is flowing rapidly away from vulnerable assemblers straight into protected domestic champions.
The Directorate General of Trade Remedies, or the DGTR, is really stepping up as the hero here for domestic manufacturers. They're erecting aggressive 5-year anti-dumping duties to heavily protect local industries. We are talking over $200 per ton on polyethylene terephthalate for packaging, up to a whopping $1,748 per ton on sulfonamides for rubber manufacturing, and extended duties on aluminum foil. Make no mistake, this isn't just generic demand growth. This is active, targeted regulatory defense shielding domestic margins.
Which brings us to Section 3, the sovereign moat.
Let's see how this builds into the sword of our narrative, the targeted, sovereign-backed champions poised to conquer this newly protected environment, starting with the defense and power sectors. Just look at the compounding trajectory of Bharat Electronics Limited, or BEL. Over 2 decades, they've evolved from a basic utility into an absolute high-tech defense powerhouse. From a $1.76 billion market cap back in 2005, they compounded to nearly $25 billion in 2024 and then surged to $32.78 billion by July 2026. This kind of compounding is supported by a pristine, zero-debt capital structure that completely insulates them from global credit cycles.
But the absolutely crucial point for BEL is this massive 73,882 crore rupee order book. Since their primary client is the Indian Ministry of Defense, which actively enforces indigenous procurement guidelines, BEL has almost 2.7 years of rock-solid revenue visibility. They are entirely insulated from the global trade wars we discussed earlier, and they boast a return on capital employed of almost 40%. That is huge.
Similarly, take a look at CG Power. They're leveraging a debt-free balance sheet to become the premier beneficiary of the domestic power grid expansion. Power systems now drive nearly 69% of their operating profit. Now, with an anti-dumping probe currently targeting imported electrical steel, transformer core costs are definitely going to rise. But because of CG Power's vertically integrated pricing power, they can just pass those costs right along. Add in a 15,719 crore unexecuted backlog and a massive 900 crore US export order for data centers, their moat is looking incredibly wide.
Let's shift into Section 4, Chemical and API Champions.
Shifting gears from the electrical grid over to the laboratory, let's explore how the pharmaceutical and specialty chemical sectors are successfully localizing their supply chains and boxing out overseas competition. Deepak Nitrite is a major standout here. Their fundamentals and technicals are incredibly strong right now. They're actively building India's first fully integrated cumene to polycarbonate value chain, which is a critical component in advanced plastics, and that's set to go live by 2028. This is going to drastically substitute high-volume imports. Financially speaking, as global destocking pressures eased, their Q4 FY26 consolidated EBITDA surged an impressive 74% sequentially. Technically, the stock is breaking right out of its medium-term falling channel.
Aarti Industries is another one you absolutely need to watch closely. Operating 16 manufacturing sites and ranking top 4 globally for most of their portfolio, they're flashing highly bullish technical signals. On July 1st, 2026, daily MACD and moving average crossovers generated clear technical buy signals, and this lines up perfectly with their fundamentals, as they lock down massive long-term global contracts while smartly shifting their capital expenditure focus toward reducing net debt.
Over in the pharma sector, the entire narrative right now is all about backward integration to escape that reliance on Chinese generic APIs. Divi's Laboratories maintains a beautifully balanced revenue mix, pulling in 55% from custom synthesis and 45% from generic APIs. What's absolutely vital here, though, is that they have literally doubled their capital work in progress. Why? Because they've successfully validated high-capacity peptide synthesis technology, perfectly positioning themselves to target the highly lucrative, absolutely booming global GLP-1 weight loss drug market.
Meanwhile, Laurus Labs is dedicating a massive 3,000 crore rupees to a 2-year capex plan. This war chest is focused entirely on building out formidable fermentation and peptide infrastructure. By investing heavily in their biotechnology subsidiary Laurus Bio, they're strategically positioning themselves to capture high-value global manufacturing contracts. They're moving away from those low-margin generic formulation pressures and leaning heavily on their fast-growing contract development and manufacturing pipeline.
Finally, we arrive at Section 5, the 2026 Strategic Playbook.
So what does all of this actually mean for your capital? We've covered a ton of ground today. Let's distill all this macro data and company-specific analysis down into a clear, concise strategic playbook for navigating the rest of 2026. The overarching takeaway from today's explainer is crystal clear. You want to avoid the fragile toll assemblers who are heavily exposed to supply shocks and global trade disputes. Instead, realign your portfolio behind these vertically integrated leaders. You're looking to maintain a core overweight position in sovereign defense with BEL, accumulate specialty chemicals like Deepak Nitrite and Aarti Industries, who directly benefit from trade barriers, selectively integrate backward API leaders like Divi's and Laurus Labs, and finally ride the domestic grid expansion moat with CG Power. These are the companies being actively protected by sovereign mandates and anti-dumping walls.
And that wraps up our explainer on the 2026 macro pressure wave. In a global landscape defined by structural overcapacity, the era of borderless free trade is undeniably shifting. So, the real question you have to ask yourself is this: as these new economic fortresses are built, is your capital hiding behind the right walls? Let us know in the comments which ticker we should decode next. Stay focused, keep learning, and I'll see you in the next explainer.